Chapter 1. Have your lawyer draft the divorce papers. Sophia Chen ended the call with her attorney, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. 5 years of marriage to Marcus Sterling, 3 of them sleeping in separate rooms. This facade of a union had finally reached its inevitable conclusion. Lost in thought, she felt a small, warm body crash into her legs. Mommy, are we really moving away? Her daughter's sweet voice pulled her back to reality. Sophia didn't answer immediately. Instead, she lifted 4-year-old Lily onto her lap, studying her innocent face with a heavy heart. But Uncle. Daddy hugged me today. Maybe he's starting to like me? Lily's hopeful eyes made Sophia's chest tighten. How could she tell her daughter that Marcus's rare display of affection had nothing to do with her? That his childhood sweetheart Victoria Lane had returned from London, and his good mood was entirely because of her? The truth was crueler still. Marcus had never hidden his contempt for both of them. 5 years ago, everything changed when Victoria married someone else and moved to England. Marcus drowned himself in Manhattan's most exclusive bars, and Sophia, unable to watch him self-destruct, had followed him. One fateful night. Someone had spiked his drink with something potent. Sophia managed to get him out of there, but on the way to the hospital, he'd grabbed her wrist with surprising strength. Sophia, take me to a hotel. His voice had been rough, desperate. Sophia came from Nothinga scholarship kid who'd only finished high school thanks to the Sterling Foundation's charity program. She'd worked her way through Columbia, waiting tables and tutoring to make ends meet, finally landing a position at a Fortune 500 company through campus recruitment. That's where she'd officially met Marcus Sterling, heir to Sterling Industries. She'd harbored feelings for him despite the canyon between their social statuses, but she'd never dared to hope. Yet faced with his plea that night, when she tried to refuse, he'd lunged for the steering wheel. The car had swerved dangerously on Fifth Avenue before she reluctantly drove to the nearest hotel. The next morning, Marcus woke with no memory of his desperate pleas, instead accusing her of orchestrating the entire thing to trap him. No amount of explanation could convince him otherwise. He married her out of what he called responsibility, but it was a secret marriage. He treated their Tribeca penthouse like a hotel, coming and going without notice, sometimes disappearing for weeks. When Lily was born, he'd barely glanced at her before ordering the night nurse to take her away. He wouldn't even let her call him Daddy. At 18 months, when Lily had toddled toward him with arms outstretched, calling Dada for the first time, he'd physically recoiled. He'd carried her outside their townhouse and shut the door, leaving her crying on the front steps while he watched from behind the glass. By the time Sophia had heard the commotion and rushed downstairs, Lily's voice was hoarse from sobbing. When she'd confronted the housekeeper about why no one had brought Lily inside, the woman had stammered that Mr. Sterling had specifically instructed them not to interfere. He was teaching the child boundaries. The memories made Sophia's eyes burn as she held Lily closer. Sweetheart, Uncle wants to live his own life. He doesn't like being bothered by us. She forced her voice to remain steady. Mommy's going to take you somewhere new, somewhere beautiful and fun. Would you like that? Lily's arms tightened around her neck, her little face crumpling. But Mommy, I really want Uncle to be with us. Sophia's throat constricted. Baby, Uncle's special friend came back. We need to give them space. Lily's head drooped, tears spotting Sophia's blouse. After a long moment, she whispered, Mommy, let's give Uncle one last chance. If he still can't see how good we are, then we'll go far away where he'll never find us, okay? It was an old Chinese proverb Sophia had taught her, things don't happen more than 3 times. The first time, Marcus forgot Lily's 3rd birthday. The second time, he promised to attend her preschool's parent day but never showed. Lily had stood alone by her cubby long after every other child had been collected, confusion and hurt etched on her tiny face. So Lily was offering him one final chance. Chapter 2. Marcus hadn't set foot in their home for over a week. But young Lily still clung to a thread of hope for the man she desperately wanted to call Daddy. Sophia knew better. Marcus wouldn't change, especially not now that Victoria was back. She quietly began preparing their departure. The day the divorce papers arrived from her lawyer, she submitted her resignation to her company. The CEO called her into his office immediately, closing the door with concern etched on his face. Is someone trying to poach you? Whatever they're offering, we'll match it. Hell, we'll exceed it. Sophia shook her head with a sad smile. It's not about money, David. I need to give my daughter a fresh start, show her there's a whole world beyond this. 5 years had been enough to accept reality. She no longer harbored fantasies that Marcus would suddenly see them, truly see them. David frowned, lowering his voice. Is this about your marriage? I've heard rumors about you and Marcus Sterling. No. Sophia cut him off quickly. Lily's father died in a car accident. That's why I need to focus on her now, give her the attention she deserves. David nodded thoughtfully. I understand. But Sophia, if you ever want to come back, my door's always open. He paused, then added, I never believed those rumors anyway. I remember when he was still hung up on Victoria. Never mind. Sophia's smile turned bitter. How ironic, everyone knew who held Marcus's heart, yet she deluded herself for years. Only now was she finally willing to wake up. She blinked back the moisture in her eyes and completed her exit paperwork. Walking back through the lobby, she stopped short. Marcus and Victoria were strolling through the main entrance together. Oh my God, is that Marcus Sterling? Someone whispered nearby. Who's that woman with him? Are you living under a rock? That's Victoria Lane, his college sweetheart. She just got back from doing her MBA at London Business School. She's gorgeous. No wonder Sterling's been single all these years. She was waiting for her. Each word felt like a needle in Sophia's heart. Marcus had hidden her and Lily so thoroughly, as if they'd never existed in his world. But Victoria had been back less than a month, and already he was parading her around like a trophy. Love and its absence, the difference was devastatingly clear. Chapter 3. In the early days of their marriage, Sophia had been full of hope, determined to build a real family. She'd been naive enough to believe that with enough patience and love, Marcus would eventually make room in his heart for her and Lily. But 5 years had passed like sand through her fingers, her devotion met with nothing but cold indifference. It was time to let go of her delusions. Standing in the lobby, watching Marcus and Victoria approach hand in hand, Sophia felt oddly calm. The mocking voice in her head was directed entirely at herself. As someone who'd benefited from the Sterling Foundation scholarship program and as the liaison between her company and Sterling Industries, she felt obligated to acknowledge them. But the moment she took a step forward, Marcus's eyes turned glacial, a clear warning in them. "Miss Chen, can I help you?" His tone was arctic, as if she might say something to ruin his perfect moment with Victoria. Sophia's forced smile froze on her face. She stopped walking. Of course. With Victoria back in his life, why would he care about something as trivial as her resignation or departure? She kept her expression neutral, despite the tremor in her chest. "My apologies, Mr. Sterling. I mistook you for someone else." Satisfied with her response, Marcus gave a curt nod and swept past with Victoria on his arm, as if Sophia were invisible. As if he weren't her legal husband. As if he weren't Lily's father. Any normal person would inform their spouse before leaving the country with their child. But Marcus's attitude made it clear wouldn't care where they went or if they ever came back. Sophia took a deep breath, mocking herself silently as she headed for the exit. She drove home and packed their essentials efficiently. When it was time, she drove to Lily's preschool for pickup as usual. She spotted her daughter immediately, Lily's pigtails bouncing as she played with her classmates. Sophia waved with a smile. "Mommy!" Lily shrieked with joy, racing toward the car. But when she climbed in and realized the back seat was empty, her face fell. "Where's Uncle? Is he working late again? Or, did he forget my birthday again?" Sophia's heart clenched. This would likely be Lily's last birthday with any possibility of Marcus's presence. "Uncle's probably working late, sweetheart. Mommy will text him a reminder, and we'll wait for him at home, okay?" Lily's face lit up immediately, hope dancing in her eyes. "Yes." After sending Marcus a text about Lily's birthday, Sophia drove them home. 30 minutes later, he replied, "I'll pick you both up later tonight." She relayed the message to Lily. "Uncle says he'll come home to get us." "Yay." Lily jumped up from the couch. "I knew Uncle wouldn't forget. Mommy, I really think Uncle's starting to like me. Why else would he remember my birthday?" Watching her daughter's innocent joy, Sophia gently stroked her hair. She understood Lily was so desperate for her father's love that she had to magnify every small gesture, trying to convince them both to give Marcus another chance. Despite everything, a tiny flame of hope flickered in Sophia's chest. Maybe this time Marcus would keep his promise. Maybe he'd finally look back at the family waiting for him. But experience had taught her better. The scars from years of rejection reminded her that Marcus would likely not show up. Still, Sophia said nothing, just smiled softly as Lily excitedly picked out her prettiest dress from the closet. Today was Lily's 4th birthday. For her 1st, 2nd, and 3rd birthdays, Marcus had been absent. This was the first time he'd ever agreed to celebrate with her. Yet as darkness fell and streetlights began to glow outside their windows, casting amber light across the living room, there was still no sign of Marcus. The promised time had long passed, and her messages remained unread. When the streetlights were fully illuminated, Lily couldn't hold back anymore. Her eyes reddened as she clung to Sophia's neck, her voice breaking. "Mommy, maybe Uncle got stuck in traffic? Can we call him? Please?" Unable to refuse her daughter's plea, Sophia reluctantly pulled out her phone. Lily carefully cradled the phone in her small hands and dialed the familiar number. Surprisingly, it was answered immediately. But instead of Marcus's voice, a child spoke. "Hello? Who's this? What do you want?" Chapter 4. Lily froze for several seconds before asking tentatively, "I'm Lily. Who are you? Where's Uncle?" "I'm Alex." "Uncle? You mean Marcus' dad? He's in the kitchen making me soup. I'll tell him to call you back when he's done." "Marcus' dad? Why do you call Uncle Dad?" Lily's voice trembled with confusion. The boy on the other end grew impatient. "Because Marcus' dad and Mommy told me to." "What do you want anyway? I'm hanging up if it's nothing important. Please tell Uncle that Lily called." Click. Alex had already ended the call. The light in Lily's eyes dimmed instantly. She curled into Sophia's arms like an abandoned puppy, her small body trembling. Moments later, Marcus updated his Instagram story. The photo showed an adorable mixed-race boy happily eating seafood chowder. Sophia's finger moved unconsciously, liking the post. Within seconds, Marcus called. "What the hell is your game, Sophia?" His voice was hoarse with anger. "Victoria had an emergency meeting and needed someone to watch Alex. Don't you dare comment something inappropriate on my posts. Keep your pathetic attempts at manipulation to yourself, or else. You know what Victoria and I mean to each other. You have no right to expect anything more." Pain radiated through Sophia's chest. 5 years later, Marcus still believed she deliberately seduced him for social climbing. Sophia gripped the phone tighter, unable to hold back her sarcasm. Did I say anything? I just liked a photo. Why are you so paranoid? Today is your biological daughter's birthday. She doesn't even get to taste your cooking, barely gets to have dinner with you even when we beg. The Lanes are wealthy enough. Can't they afford a nanny? Do you really need to? She bit back the words, grovel at their feet, swallowing the bitter phrase. Even now, she couldn't bring herself to hurt him with harsh words. She hated her weakness, hated that she still couldn't let go. The bitterness threatened to drown her. Lily had already started crying, covering Sophia's mouth with her tiny hand, sobbing, "Mommy, please don't fight with Uncle." Marcus's voice cut through, "Don't worry, I promised to spend Lily's birthday with her and I will. But birthdays happen every year. If something happened to Alex, how would I explain it to Victoria? Can't you be a little more understanding? Why are you competing with a child? This is none of your business. That's all." He hung up. "Mommy, let's go. Let's never come back." Lily sobbed in Sophia's arms. "Uncle is mean. I don't like him anymore. I don't want him at my birthday." Hearing her daughter's heartbroken words, Sophia felt her own heart shatter. She held Lily tightly, patting her back, her throat so constricted she could barely speak. Okay. Chapter 5. Almost immediately, her phone chimed with a text from Marcus. "Don't let Lily go to sleep. I'll be home within an hour." Lily heard the notification and looked up with red-rimmed eyes, a weak but desperate hope flickering in them as she stared at Sophia. After a moment's hesitation, unable to deny her daughter's last wish, Sophia showed her the phone. "Uncle says he'll be home in an hour." Lily froze, then smiled through her tears, already making excuses for him, as if trying to convince herself. Alex must have been bothering Uncle, that's why he couldn't come right away. So, even if Uncle doesn't make it in an hour, we should wait. As long as he comes before midnight, it means he cares about me a little bit. She nodded firmly, then scrambled out of Sophia's arms and ran to her room on her little legs. She returned with a small tiara she'd been saving, carefully placing it on her head. Standing before the mirror, she meticulously smoothed every wrinkle in her white princess dress, then turned to Sophia. "Mommy, do I look pretty? Uncle once said girls should always be beautiful and neat." Sophia's eyes instantly reddened, her heart aching. Every time Marcus came home, Lily would find ways to hover near him, treasuring even a few minutes of his presence. Just to earn a few more words from him, she'd memorized all his preferences at such a young age. Sophia remembered once when she'd been dealing with a crisis at work, a subordinate's major mistake on a project. Unable to leave the office, she'd asked a friend to watch Lily. The friend had brought her own daughter, and the two children had been playing house in the garden, getting delightfully messy. Marcus had chosen that rare day to come home. Normally immaculate and composed, he'd turned cold at the sight. He'd roughly yanked Lily to her feet, his voice dripping with disdain. "Lily Chen, look at yourself. Filthy. Is this how a young lady behaves? Go to your room and bathe immediately. Don't come out until you're presentable." Lily had run to her room in tears. The friend, knowing their situation, had texted Sophia and left quickly to avoid causing more trouble. Later, Sophia had made Lily ginger milk pudding as comfort food. When Lily tasted the spicy sweetness, she'd remembered that Marcus loved spicy food. Determined to please him, she'd begged Sophia to teach her the recipe, promising to make it for Uncle when he came home. From then on, uncertain when Marcus might return, Lily had helped make a fresh bowl every day, hoping he'd taste it. A month passed without Marcus showing his face. Remembering all this while watching Lily's excited preparation, Sophia felt as if an invisible hand was crushing her heart. She could only pray silently that Marcus would keep his promise this time, that he wouldn't disappoint them again. Before they left, she desperately wanted her daughter's final wish to be fulfilled. But as the clock chimed again and again, midnight approaching, there was still no sign of Marcus's car in the driveway. Then Victoria updated her Instagram story. "Alex won't let go of Marcus, Dad." The photo showed the same boy, face covered in tears, clinging to Marcus's leg. Sophia slowly turned to look at Lily, who was pressed against the window, watching the street intently. Lily was Marcus's biological daughter, yet he gave all his patience and gentleness to Victoria's child from her previous marriage. While Lily had grown up without her father's presence from birth. Sophia's throat felt like it was filled with thorns. She didn't know how to tell Lily that the daddy she longed for had abandoned her yet again. Chapter 6. The clock struck 12 with long, mournful chimes. Lily turned from the window to face Sophia, her lips pressed tight, her small face crumpled with disappointment. She let out a heavy sigh that seemed too world-weary for a 4-year-old. "I guess Uncle really is too busy. He's not coming." Sophia looked at her daughter, eyes red but trying so hard to appear indifferent, and felt a leaden weight in her chest. She knew Marcus wasn't busy. He was giving his fatherly affection to another child. But some truths were too cruel to voice, even if they both understood. Sophia walked over and pulled Lily into her arms, speaking softly. "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy will always be here with you. There's a festival in Central Park tonight with fireworks. Should Mommy take you to see them?" Lily pressed her face against Sophia's chest and nodded, tears in her eyes but forcing a smile. "Okay. Having Mommy is enough." On the drive to Central Park, neither mentioned birthdays or Marcus, as if the earlier disappointment had never happened. After parking, Sophia took Lily's hand and walked into the park. It was the Lantern Festival, and the park was filled with vendors selling sparklers and small fireworks, displays that were rarely seen in the city. Lily, who loved fireworks more than anything, immediately perked up. Look at all the pretty sparklers, sweetie. Mommy can light them for you, they'll be beautiful in the dark. The vendor smiled warmly at them. Lily had never seen so many different types of fireworks. Her eyes lit up as she excitedly began choosing. Suddenly, she gasped with delight. Mommy. This one is shaped like a lotus flower, Uncle's favorite. The vendor, charmed by Lily's enthusiasm, explained, that's a special collector's item, we only have one. When lit, it creates a lotus pattern in the sky. If the little princess wants it, better grab it quick. Lily turned to Sophia with shining eyes, full of hope. Sophia smiled and was about to say they'd take it when a young boy suddenly rushed over and snatched the lotus firework. Mister, I want this one. Lily glared at the blonde boy who'd appeared from nowhere. Hey. I saw it first. Sophia's eyes narrowed as she recognized him, Alex, the boy from Victoria's Instagram posts. Her frown deepened. What were they doing here? Alex ignored Lily completely, throwing money at the vendor and running off with the firework. Lily tugged at Sophia's sleeve, frustrated. Mommy. What were you thinking about? He took our firework. We saw it first. Sophia snapped back to attention, crouching down apologetically. I'm sorry, baby. Mommy should have paid faster. How about this, if you really want the lotus firework, Mommy will have one specially made just for you tomorrow. Lily brightened at the promise. Really? That's perfect. Then we can invite Uncle to come watch. Sophia didn't want to dampen her spirits, so she said nothing more. She stood, taking Lily's hand and gathering their other selections, looking for an open space to enjoy them. They'd barely walked a few steps when Lily suddenly stopped, refusing to budge. Sophia looked down at her daughter, puzzled. What's wrong, sweetheart? Lily's face flushed with excitement as she pointed ahead. Mommy, that looks like Uncle. Did you plan a surprise together? Sophia followed her daughter's finger and immediately spotted Marcus at a food truck buying cotton candy. Before she could speak, Lily was already jumping with joy, waving her arms. The word burst from her lips, Daddy. Daddy. I'm here. Chapter 7. She called out several times, but Marcus didn't respond. Thinking he hadn't heard her, Lily broke free and ran toward him. But her excitement was short-lived. When Lily reached Marcus, he stepped back, holding the cotton candy away from her. His gaze was as cold as if she were a stranger. Lily froze, her outstretched hand dropping to her side, confusion written across her small face. Just then, a small figure barreled into her, knocking her sideways. Marcus, Dad, did you get my cotton candy? Sophia witnessed it all and rushed forward, catching Lily before she fell, anxiety clear in her voice. Baby, are you hurt? Marcus instinctively moved toward them, then stopped abruptly when he saw Victoria approaching. He quickly pulled Alex protectively behind him. I'm sorry. Alex didn't mean it. Let me apologize on his behalf. Lily's lower lip trembled as she hid behind Sophia. Before Sophia could respond, Victoria stepped forward with an apologetic smile. I remember you, Sophia Chen, right? You have quite the reputation in our industry. Victoria's tone was politely distant. I'm so sorry about this. This is my son Alex. He can be a handful. She crouched down, pulling Alex into a gentle hug. Sweetheart, what does Mommy always say? Apologize to the little girl. Alex huffed but mumbled a reluctant sorry. Victoria noticed the fireworks in Sophia's hand and brightened artificially. Oh, you're here for the fireworks too? We've set up a viewing area over there, it's less crowded and perfect for children. We have snacks and toys set up. Why don't you join us? Sophia glanced at Marcus, catching his panicked expression. She understood was terrified she'd reveal their relationship. It was just like the day Victoria returned, when the usually composed CEO of Sterling Industries had shown emotion for the first time in years. She looked at the mother and son with heavy eyes. Victoria was divorced with a child, wanting Marcus to be Alex's stepfather. And she and Lily were just obstacles in his path back to his true love. Sophia's instinct was to refuse. But Lily tugged at her hand, whispering, Mommy, I want to go. Before Sophia could respond, Victoria had already linked arms with her, leading the way. Marcus, you take the little girl. Let's all go. Together. This was the first time Marcus had ever held Lily's hand. Despite Sophia's reluctance to have any more involvement with him, seeing Lily's joy, she thought, it's the last time anyway. Why ruin it for her? At the viewing area, Victoria handed Lily some sparklers and asked Alex to play with her, warning them to be careful around the larger fireworks. After settling the children, Victoria said she needed to get something from the car, asking Marcus to help Sophia get comfortable while she was gone. But moments later, they heard arguing. Alex and Lily were pushing each other. Both adults rushed over. Chapter 8. Alex was a year older and stronger than Lily. He gave her a violent shove. Lily, caught off guard, instinctively tried to protect her white princess dress from the dirt as she fell, catching herself with her small hands. Lily. Sophia ran over, scooping her daughter into her arms. Lily's soft palms were scraped raw from the concrete, blood beading on the wounds. Fury ignited in Sophia's eyes. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep pushing people? She glared at Alex, her voice sharp with anger. Marcus frowned at Lily's injuries, but his next words were firmly protective of Alex. Ms. Chen, no need for such harsh words. There must be a misunderstanding. Sophia stared at Marcus in disbelief, ice spreading through her veins. She couldn't fathom how he could defend Alex while ignoring his own injured daughter. Lily's eyes filled with tears, hurt flooding her small face. Victoria rushed back, seeing another conflict. She smiled apologetically at Sophia before giving Alex a few light taps on his bottom. Alex, why did you push her again? Apologize right now. But Alex shouted defiantly, no. She tried to take Marcus' dad from me. She's shameless. The air seemed to freeze. Victoria's smile faltered as she straightened, looking at Sophia with unreadable eyes. She dropped the subject of an apology, instead changing tack. Ms. Chen, where's the child's father? Let me drive you to the emergency room for those cuts. Sophia had reached her limit. She no longer cared about maintaining Marcus's facade. But before she could speak, Lily answered. My daddy died. In a car accident. Sophia looked down at her daughter in shock. Lily's eyes were full of tears she refused to let fall. The fight drained out of Sophia. Lily stared directly at Marcus, forcing a smile more heartbreaking than tears. Uncle, Mommy, and I won't bother you anymore. We're leaving. As she turned away, Marcus suddenly grabbed her, his eyes wide with disbelief. Lily, what did you just say? Sophia yanked Lily away from his grasp, her voice cold. Mr. Sterling, it's my daughter's birthday. We have fireworks to light. Without looking back, Sophia carried Lily away. Once in the car, she carefully cleaned and bandaged Lily's wounds, then drove to a quiet spot in the park. Brilliant fireworks bloomed overhead, beautiful but fleeting just like Lily's hope for her father. The next morning, Sophia packed away every photo of her and Lily from the apartment, tucking them carefully into their suitcase. Then she took Lily to the airport. In the departure lounge, she sent Marcus an electronic copy of the divorce papers via email. Just as she was about to turn off her phone, Marcus called. Chapter 9. Sophia declined the call without hesitation. Block. Delete. As if throwing away garbage, she erased these years from her phone. She and Lily were done waiting for Marcus. The boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. Sophia lifted Lily and joined the line. After settling into their seats and buckling Lily's seatbelt, Sophia felt a small hand on her arm. Mommy, will we see the sun above the clouds? Lily's sweet voice held anticipation. Sophia smiled gently. Yes, baby. Once we're high enough, we'll see the sunrise. Soon the plane lifted. Off. Lily pressed her face to the window, watching the golden light pierce through the clouds, illumination reflected in her relieved eyes. Meanwhile, Marcus stared at his phone, calling repeatedly only to hear, the number you have dialed is not in service. He sat in Victoria's living room, brooding over the silent phone. An inexplicable panic spread through his chest, as if something vital was being torn away from his world. He knew he'd been wrong yesterday, too quick to defend Alex while ignoring Lily's injuries. But Alex was a difficult, temperamental child unlike Lily, who was always mature and understanding, never causing trouble. He'd favored Alex only to avoid escalating the conflict. But remembering all the times he'd abandoned his daughter, guilt finally surfaced. Marcus, Dad, will you read me a story? Alex bounced over with a picture book. Marcus forced a smile. Sure. He followed Alex to the bedroom, mechanically reading the story. But his mind wandered to the fact that he'd never read Lily a bedtime story, never known if she was as angelic in sleep as she was awake. Once Alex dozed off, Marcus decided to stop by the house before heading to the office. He was gathering his things when Victoria's voice stopped him. Marcus? He turned to see her in a tight red dress. He frowned. Victoria's style had changed. He remembered meeting her in college, when she wore simple white blouses and black skirts, helpful and gentle. Now she dressed in attention-seeking colors that seemed garish to him. He found himself thinking that Sophia's understated black and gray wardrobe suited his taste better. She always looked professional and put together, never flashy like Victoria had become. Victoria noticed his stare and preened, mistaking his frown for admiration. Marcus. I heard you brought Alex home yesterday. I rushed back to check on you. Are you feeling all right? Remember that project I signed last week? Progress has been slow. The team's getting anxious. Could you put in a word with your people? Give us some leeway. I need to prove myself to my family. As Victoria approached, her heavy perfume mixed with cigarette smoke and alcohol made Marcus feel nauseous. Sophia had somehow known he hated those smells in all their years together. She'd never touched cigarettes or alcohol despite work pressures. And Sophia would never blur professional boundaries. Like this, casually asking him to pull strings. The entitlement in Victoria's request made him uncomfortable. There was a difference between him choosing to help and being expected to deliver favors. Chapter 10. The project Victoria mentioned had originally been slated for Sophia's company. But Victoria, eager to prove herself to her family, had begged until Marcus made the unprecedented decision to break the contract and redirect it to the lanes. He'd even adjusted the profit margins in their favor, the first time in his tenure as CEO that he'd made such concessions. Sophia had fought with him over it. No one in the industry has a more qualified team than we do. Victoria's group has zero foundation in this area. What can they possibly deliver? Wake up, Marcus. You can't gamble with the company's interests. Like this. It was the first time Sophia had ever raised her voice at him. Marcus had shut her down coldly. My decisions aren't up for debate, Sophia. If Victoria wants it, everyone else can get in line. Worst case scenario, we lose money. Sterling Industries can afford it. Isn't that what you wanted? Money? Isn't that why you targeted me to climb the social ladder? Too bad you married me and still have to follow protocol. Having regrets? Too late. Looking back, Marcus felt a twinge of regret. Sophia had been right. Since the Lanes took over, his team had complained constantly about quality issues and blatant embezzlement, causing endless delays. Marcus, don't forget to tell your people to go easy on us. Some things don't need to be perfect. Close enough is fine, Victoria wheedled. Marcus looked at her with disappointment. This project matters because quality inspections were built into the bid. Work isn't a game. Close enough isn't close at all. Quality is non-negotiable, no matter who asks. Victoria sensed his shift in attitude and quickly softened her voice. I'm sorry, Marcus. You're right. I'll make sure they focus on quality. When his expression eased slightly, she pressed on, it's just the budget needs. Enough. Marcus cut her off impatiently. Save business talk for the office. Victoria's eyes welled up at his harsh tone. She moved closer, reaching for his shoulders. Okay, I'll stop. Marcus saw through her act immediately. He knew Victoria lacked Sophia's competence, needing to attach herself to others for success. Even knowing Victoria's sweet exterior hid selfishness, greed, and manipulation, memories of their college days still made it hard to refuse her completely. His thoughts drifted unconsciously back to Sophia. Chapter 11. Sophia was actually more beautiful than Victoria, with a fresh, elegant bearing and a figure that perfectly matched Marcus's preferences. Her professional reputation was stellar. The only time she showed emotional volatility was with him. She'd never leveraged the Sterling name for projects, building her career on merit alone. In just a few years, she'd become a recognized industry leader. Sophia carried herself with quiet pride. She didn't talk much around Marcus, but he knew she worked tirelessly, hoping to one day stand as his equal despite the seemingly insurmountable gap between them. Unlike Victoria, she never begged him to smooth her path. If Sophia were standing here now, she'd never say such disappointing things. The comparison made Marcus feel even more exhausted. He began questioning his choices, wondering if any of this was worth it. He kept his voice level, hiding his inner turmoil. I've already made enough concessions on this project. I can't interfere further. You should go. Marcus. Victoria tried again. Go. Let me rest. His tone brooked no argument. Victoria reluctantly left. Marcus collapsed on the sofa, drained. Today's Victoria seemed especially artificial, like a gaudy peacock, nothing like his memories. The years apart had changed her profoundly. With stark clarity, Marcus realized he'd been clinging to memories of young love, not the woman Victoria had become. Perhaps with time, his feelings for her would continue to fade until they disappeared entirely. When that happened, he'd return to his family. After all, Lily was his blood. Sterling Industries would need to pass to his child eventually. With this thought, Marcus sent Sophia a WeChat message. Want to take a weekend trip? There's a hot spring resort nearby. The three of us could go together. The words felt stiff, so he added one of Victoria's favorite cute emoji. 30 minutes passed with no response. Sophia always replied to his messages instantly. What was going on? Marcus checked his watch and forced himself to focus. Time for the office. At Sterling Industries, he remembered the Lanes were waiting for a meeting. Victoria approached with coffee. Marcus, you look terrible. Are you feeling okay? Marcus stared at his still unanswered messages, frustration building. I'm fine. Handle the meeting. Yourselves. I'm not feeling well. This level of meeting didn't require his presence anyway. And Victoria, call me Mr. Sterling at work. We need to maintain professionalism. Victoria looked shocked. He'd never spoken to her so coldly before. Marcus entered the executive elevator. Victoria tried to follow but was blocked by his secretary. Marcus. There was panic in her voice. Without Marcus's support, the project would likely fail. And Marcus's current demeanor reminded her eerily of her ex-husband before their divorce. No, she needed a plan. She couldn't let Marcus slip away. Chapter 12. By evening, Marcus still hadn't heard from Sophia. He understood that years of damage couldn't be repaired overnight, but there was still time. He could fix this. Remembering he'd missed Lily's birthday yesterday, he stopped at Alex's favorite bakery after work to buy a small cake, thinking children probably liked similar things. He texted Sophia that he'd be home soon. But in the parking garage, he received an urgent call from a business partner. A major project had gone critical. They needed him to fly out immediately for damage control. He'd be gone for days at minimum. After hanging up, Marcus stared at his unanswered message and explained why he couldn't come home after all. I'm only taking my secretary. Hands on the steering wheel, he hesitated, then added, you know him, David from the executive office. Still no reply after several minutes. Throughout the business trip, Marcus was distracted, constantly checking his phone during meetings. Their conversation remained frozen on his last sent message. He pushed himself to work faster, desperate to get home. Finally, Marcus rushed back to New York. Opening the penthouse door, he was met with oppressive silence. The living room was dark and empty. No warm lights, no sounds from the kitchen, no familiar cooking smells, no children's songs floating through the air. The wrongness of it all made his heart plummet. He ran to Lily's room. On her small desk lay an open workbook and a diary with only one entry. The workbook showed sentence exercises from her teacher. Mommy took me to the playground. Mommy made me pot roast. Mommy bought me princess shoes. The diary read. Today teacher asked why I don't use daddy in my sentences. I didn't know what To say. I can't tell her my daddy, crossed out, uncle won't let anyone know I'm his daughter. Reading this, Marcus remembered a recent day when he'd come home to find Lily approaching him shyly. Uncle, can I use you in my sentences? Otherwise everyone says I don't have a daddy. He'd been reading a long text from Victoria about bringing Alex to live with them, and his mood had been foul. He'd looked at Lily coldly, his voice emotionless. No. If you dare tell anyone I'm your father, I'll give you away to an orphanage. The memory made Marcus sick with regret. It didn't matter now. From now on, Lily could write whatever she wanted. He'd never hide her existence again. He'd take her everywhere, introduce her to family and friends. Marcus carefully replaced the workbook and diary, then checked his phone again. Where were they? Traffic couldn't be this bad. Maybe he should go look for them. Just as he reached the door, Victoria appeared with Alex. Marcus Dad. Marcus Dad. Alex rushed over, wrapping himself around Marcus's leg, gazing up adoringly. Marcus Dad, I missed you so much. Why haven't you visited? Chapter 13. Marcus forcefully detached Alex's clinging hands, frowning with displeasure as he looked at Victoria. Why are you here without calling first? Victoria smiled sheepishly. Alex missed you so much, he insisted on coming. I couldn't talk him out of it. Marcus was about to send them away when Alex's loud exclamation interrupted. Wow. Marcus Dad, your house is huge. Such a pretty garden. Alex wandered toward the garden. But why would you plant a cactus in such a beautiful space? Without warning, he kicked over the small potted cactus in the corner. Marcus reached out to stop him, but it was too late. Alex then yanked a rose from the flower bed. Ow. These flowers have thorns. So annoying. He threw the rose down and stomped on it repeatedly. Marcus, genuinely angry now, pushed Alex away roughly. What are you doing? Seeing Marcus's dark expression, Victoria rushed over and slapped Alex across the face. The boy's delicate skin immediately reddened and swelled. Mommy, why did you hit me? Wah. Alex cried from the pain, instinctively running back to Marcus. Marcus Dad, Mommy hit me. It hurts. Usually when his mother was even slightly stern, Marcus would protect him, so he expected the same now. Victoria didn't stop Alex. She wasn't really trying to discipline him, she hoped Marcus would feel sorry for the boy and soften toward them. But this time was different. Marcus knelt down, carefully gathering the crushed rose, looking mournfully at the shattered pot. His voice turned completely impatient. Victoria, take your son and leave. Now. Marcus, he's just a child who doesn't know better. I'll buy you identical replacements. From the garden center, okay? You don't understand. That cactus and rose were planted by my daughter. Victoria paused, surprised. She knew about his marriage in their circle, everyone knew something, even if Marcus never discussed it. She'd always pretended ignorance in front of him. She hadn't expected him to bring it up himself. Then, let Alex apologize to your daughter. Looking at the destruction, Marcus suddenly found this mother and son repulsive. He dropped all pretense, his voice ice cold. This cactus was planted by my daughter from a seed. His voice trembled slightly. This rose she and my wife chose at the garden center and transplanted themselves. Can your apology replace my daughter's careful nurturing? Alex protested loudly, I won't apologize. She's just a bastard anyway. She doesn't deserve my apology. What did you say? Marcus couldn't believe such vicious words from a child. Victoria went pale, trying to cover Alex's mouth, but it was too late. Alex stuck out his chin defiantly. That's what Mommy said on the phone last night. I heard everything. She said that woman seduced you and had a bastard child. You should have been my daddy all along. Marcus's fury turned cold, his dark eyes boring into Alex. Oh? Is that what your mommy says? Alex felt afraid but stubbornly continued. It's true. That's why you wouldn't acknowledge her at the park. You hate her too, don't you? I was just helping you. Chapter 14. Marcus's eyes lowered, his face expressionless, emotions unreadable. His thoughts drifted back to that night Lily's disappointed face, her injured hand, clawing at his heart like sharp hooks. Victoria watched Marcus's demeanor with growing panic. She rushed forward, throwing her arms around him desperately. Marcus, when I decided to return home, you were the first person I contacted. I know I hurt you before, but I only married my ex-husband because I was pregnant. I couldn't let a child be born without a father. But every day abroad, all I thought about was you. I never wanted to leave you. Victoria seemed to believe her own performance, tears streaming down her face onto Marcus's shirt. She pulled back slightly, cupping his face, looking directly into his eyes. I love you, Marcus. Come back to me, please. Marcus's face grew paler as he looked at Victoria, familiar yet strange. After a long silence, he pushed her away, his voice hoarse. Victoria, I think I don't love you anymore. The words brought instant clarity. His feelings for Victoria were like nostalgia for a favorite college restaurant living in the memory for years, only to find the taste completely different when he finally returned. The disappointment killed any remaining appetite. Marcus stepped back, his expression completely distant. Take Alex and go. Don't contact me again unless it's about financial settlements. Victoria stared in disbelief. Marcus? You're joking, right? And over such a small thing. Marcus cut her off, his voice arctic. I'm married. I can't marry you. Victoria forced an ugly smile, trying to appear magnanimous. That's okay, I can wait for your divorce. We can still. Marcus interrupted again. Leave now. Don't come looking for me again. And Alex should go back to calling me uncle. He signaled the security guard at the door. The guard stepped forward immediately. Ms. Lane, let me escort you out. Victoria stood in a daze, not understanding how things had deteriorated so quickly. Alex, still not comprehending, threw a tantrum about leaving. I won't go. I want to stay with Marcus, Dad. I want to live here. Wah. He ran to grab Marcus's leg again, wailing. Marcus shoved him away without mercy. Alex stumbled and fell. Don't call me Marcus Dad anymore. I only have one child, me daughter. Time to go home. Victoria picked up the sobbing Alex, tears streaming as she accused Marcus. I've loved you for years. How can you throw such a fit over some plants? What did Alex do wrong? He just wants a father's love. Marcus's patience was exhausted. He had security forcibly remove them. The house finally returned to quiet. Marcus took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, then headed to the garage and drove directly to Lily's preschool. Chapter 15. Marcus arrived at the preschool to find it nearly empty. He hurried from his car, seeing the principal sending off the last lingering child. He approached anxiously. Excuse me, is Lily Chen still here? The principal looked him up and down suspiciously. Who are you? I'm her father. Father? Her father died in a car accident. Who are you really? Marcus explained guiltily, that's a misunderstanding. I've been too busy with work to spend time with her. I waited at home but they didn't return. I was worried something happened. The principal studied this refined yet desperate man meaningfully. Just got home today. But Lily's mother had withdrawn her from school a week ago. You should ask the child's mother. They're not here anymore. Unable to find Sophia and Lily, Marcus returned home devastated. He collapsed on the sofa as memories flooded back every moment with Sophia and Lily erupting like a volcano in his mind. The hot lava of regret engulfed his heart as the past boiled and churned inside him. Unable to reach them, Marcus abandoned work entirely, camping in the living room hoping they'd return. But from afternoon until nightfall, there was no sign of them. Finally, he dragged himself to the study to email Sophia from his personal account. Opening his laptop, he found an email from Sophia sent days ago. The attachment's title glared at him, Divorce Agreement. Marcus stared at those words, frozen. His heart pounded violently, his eyes reddening immediately. Overwhelming loss crashed over him. Dense pain spread from his chest as grief threatened to suffocate him. He sat helplessly, staring at the cold, simple divorce agreement on the screen. Gradually, his vision blurred. When Marcus came to his senses, he realized his face was wet with tears. He knew his years of undisguised contempt had wounded them deeply. But he'd never imagined they would leave so decisively. No. He wouldn't sign. He wouldn't agree to divorce. Marcus wiped his tears, steadying himself before calling Sophia's boss. The phone rang endlessly before being answered. Mr. Sterling, I'm so sorry I was in an important meeting and couldn't step away. The voice was apologetic. It's been too long. What can I do for you? Marcus tried to sound casual. I'm looking for Sophia Chen. I need to discuss something with her. Sophia? She resigned. Said she was taking her daughter abroad. What? Abroad? Marcus's voice rose in shock. After a pause, left days ago. Said her wife passed away and she wanted to travel with her daughter, see the world, not be trapped here. She probably won't be back. Marcus couldn't contain his anger. Why didn't you tell me? Do you know where she went? The response was awkward. Mr. Sterling, with all due respect, the project went to the lanes, ending our collaboration. I had no obligation to report an employee's resignation to you. As for where she went, we truly don't know. Marcus laughed soundlessly through his tears. He laughed at his stupidity. At taking love for granted. He could have had an enviable family, but his obsessions had destroyed everything. Mr. Sterling, what's this about? If it's work-related, tell me directly. Sophia's projects have been reassigned. Marcus took a deep breath, knowing further questions were pointless. He forced himself to respond, it's not work-related. Never mind. Chapter 16. Sophia and Lily had been in London for over 2 weeks. Their decision to leave had been made in just 2 days, so they initially stayed in a hotel. Considering Lily's schooling, Sophia focused on city apartments rather than suburban houses. Finding the right place took time, but eventually, Sophia found the perfect flat. Lily loved playing house, so Sophia bought toy foods and furniture sets for her new playroom. She imagined Lily inviting new friends over to play together. Sure enough, Lily was thrilled, shouting, "Mommy is the best mommy in the world." The decor here was completely different from their New York home. Marcus had insisted on minimalist all-white everything, even Lily's room looked more like a guest room than a child's space. This time, Lily chose everything herself, pink decorations and stuffed animals everywhere, full of warmth. Once settled, Lily's new school term began. Having attended an international preschool, Lily adapted quickly, making friends and thriving. Though Sophia's savings could support them comfortably for life, she needed purpose beyond mere existence. After ensuring Lily was settled, she began job hunting. With her experience at a major firm, interview offers poured in. She chose a company within walking distance with the best compensation package. They offered her the position on the spot. Back home, Sophia turned on her old phone for the first time since leaving. She needed to transfer client contacts to her new device. Opening WeChat, she was bombarded with messages from Marcus. Sophia, I miss you both. Where are you? I was wrong about everything. Please forgive me. I've ended things with Victoria. I only want you and Lily. Please come home. I won't stop Lily from calling me Daddy anymore. We can be a real family. I won't sign the divorce papers. I'll wait for you to come back. Sophia read the hundreds of messages with no expression, not bothering to scroll up further. After transferring her data, she turned off the phone permanently. Too late, Marcus. We've started our new life. There's no going back. Pushing thoughts of him aside, she checked the time and went to pick up Lily from school. After dinner, while Lily watched cartoons, Sophia checked her work emails. More emails from Marcus appeared. With a long sigh, she blocked his email address. After reviewing work materials, she was about to join Lily when her phone buzzed. A text from her new boss. Sophia, we have a potential American partner visiting tomorrow. Please handle the reception and secure the new project bid. Chapter 17. Sophia naturally agreed. Bidding was second nature to her. But the next day, when she arrived at the office and saw Marcus surrounded by executives, she felt a headache forming. What were the odds? Still, she'd always separated personal and professional matters clearly. When their eyes met, she remained composed, betraying nothing. Marcus's eyes reddened with joy at seeing Sophia, clearly fighting back tears. It really was her. Normally, project partnerships didn't require the CEO's presence. But yesterday a friend in London had mentioned possibly seeing Sophia, and Marcus had immediately decided to come personally. Marcus stared at Sophia intently as he approached, extending his hand with a trembling voice. Ms. Chen. It's been a while. Sophia shook his hand briefly and professionally, releasing it quickly. Indeed, Mr. Sterling. Marcus felt a wave of disappointment at her cold touch. Once, Sophia had cared for him devotedly, her eyes always following him. Now he'd lost the woman who'd loved him completely. Regret consumed him, but he told himself her feelings couldn't have vanished so quickly. He could win her back. When Marcus continued staring, Sophia called his name several times and finally touched his shoulder lightly. Mr. Sterling? Shall we go to my office? Oh. Yes. Marcus snapped back to attention. In her office, the man who'd always insisted on separating personal and professional matters immediately brought up private concerns. How's Lily? I want to see her. Sophia met his gaze calmly. Mr. Sterling, have your principles changed so quickly? Sophia, you know why I'm here. His voice held urgency and hurt. Sophia's response was indifferent. I don't know and don't want to know. I'm only meeting with you for work purposes. We have nothing else to discuss. Marcus hadn't expected such coldness. His eyes reddened. He finally understood how Sophia had felt facing his indifference. It made him regret his cruelty even more. I'm sorry, Sophia slapped the contract on the desk, cutting him off. Mr. Sterling, will you sign? Events didn't unfold as Sophia expected. She'd thought Marcus would storm out after such treatment. Instead, he signed immediately. The staff outside, eavesdropping, were shocked. The negotiation lasted less than 5 minutes. No bidding, just straight to contract. Of course, this was just the initial agreement. The company's CEO had planned to have Sophia secure the deal, then hand it to his favorite employee. But Marcus insisted Sophia personally manage the entire project. The CEO had no choice but to abandon his scheme. Chapter 18. Sophia checked her watch closing time. She ignored Marcus's earlier request to wait for him. After he'd gone to meet her boss. This was Lily's pickup time. After collecting Lily from school, near home, Lily asked for dessert. Sophia spotted a nearby cafe and took her inside. Unexpectedly, in this foreign country, she ran into her college classmate Stephen Parker. Stephen had always been kind and helpful. She remembered how in college, working multiple jobs, she often missed meals. During a PE class, she'd fainted without warning and been taken to the infirmary. When she woke, Stephen was beside her. She later learned he'd caught her before she hit the ground. After that, they became close friends. So Stephen knew about her relationship situation. But they'd lost touch after her marriage. Sophia approached him. Stephen? Stephen stared in surprise at Sophia, then at Lily. What a coincidence. Your daughter's so big already. Where's her father? Sophia smiled wryly. Still as direct as ever. Her father and I separated. Stephen looked at Sophia, still beautiful, perhaps even more radiant than 5 years ago. Nostalgia flickered in his eyes. To hide his emotions, he quickly paid for their desserts with his phone. Consider it a gift for your daughter. Sophia shook her head with a smile. When do you get off? Come for dinner. Stephen looked up in pleased surprise. Really? I've missed your cooking. He paused. This is my cafe. I can leave now. Stephen's wealthy family meant he didn't need to work. After graduation, he'd moved to his beloved London and opened this dessert cafe. While he loved it here, he missed home-cooked meals that suited his palate. Sophia raised an eyebrow knowingly. Then let's go. She took Lily's hand and led Stephen home. In the familiar elevator, Stephen exclaimed when Sophia pressed her floor. What a coincidence, I live right upstairs. Sophia patted the quiet Lily's head. Perfect. You're welcome for dinner anytime. Stephen felt embarrassed, but Sophia's cooking was too tempting. You said it, no taking it back. I'll pay for groceries. Sophia sighed. Stephen, don't be so formal. Come whenever you want. They chatted and laughed, quickly reaching her flat. The living room was warm and inviting, with an enormous plush cake on the sofa. Stephen's eyes widened. Wow, Lily, that's huge. Lily blushed but said seriously, I want to own a cake shop when I grow up. Stephen responded with exaggerated enthusiasm. We're kindred spirits. We'll definitely be great friends. There's a dessert exhibition here soon. Master bakers from around the world will share techniques, with amazing unique desserts. Would Lily like to go? Lily's eyes sparkled with hope, but she looked uncertainly at Sophia. Chapter 19. Sophia emerged from the kitchen tying on an apron. Seeing Lily's eager expression, she smiled. What do you say to Uncle Stephen? Lily bounced excitedly. Thank you, Uncle Stephen. Stephen melted at her sweetness, gently ruffling her hair. You're very welcome. Seeing Lily so happy after so long, Sophia decided to let Stephen choose tonight's menu. Stephen, what would you like for dinner? His eyes lit up as he listed several dishes Sophia had made in college that he'd never forgotten. Do you remember those recipes? Sophia drew out an "oh." Teasing, still such a foodie after all these years. She started removing her apron to shop for ingredients. Stephen stepped forward, reaching behind her neck to untie the apron strings, smiling at Sophia. Chef Chen, Lily and I will wait for you here. The words held a hint of flirtation, but Sophia just smiled and left. She knew Stephen bold with words but harmless in action. Left alone, Stephen picked up Lily and settled on the sofa, regaling her with funny stories about opening his cafe and solving various challenges. Lily listened raptly, eyes full of admiration. Soon the doorbell rang. Stephen muttered, your mom shouldn't be back so soon. Did she forget something? He went to answer it. Through the peephole, he saw Marcus. Stephen didn't particularly want to open the door, but Marcus was Lily's father, possibly here to see her. He opened it. Marcus immediately frowned. Who are you? Stephen, who'd planned to be polite, rolled his eyes at the rude tone. None of your business. What do you want? Marcus's eyes narrowed, his voice commanding. Move. I need to see my daughter Lily. Hearing that familiar voice calling her name, Lily knew exactly who it was. But she really didn't want to see Uncle, so she pretended not to hear and turned on the TV. Stephen glanced back, noting Lily's avoidance. Plus, Marcus's commanding tone was irritating. Lily doesn't seem to want to see you. Does Sophia know you're here? If you're uninvited, I can't let you in. Marcus stared at this stranger, anger flashing in his eyes. Uninvited? My wife's home is my home. I come and go as I please. Stephen paused, then said, wife? Sophia said you're separated. Marcus replied dismissively, we're not divorced. She's still my wife. Stephen knew Sophia if she said they were separated, they were separated. He hadn't expected the high and mighty Marcus Sterling to be desperately trying to reconcile. Your marriage is your business, but you can't come in now. Sophia will be back soon, ask her then. Can't you see Lily's reaction? She doesn't want to see you. Chapter 20. Marcus felt his face burn as if slapped, but persisted. I'm her biological father. Of course Lily wants to see me. His voice rose, as if covering something up. She's just a little angry with me. Let me I just want to see her. He couldn't accept that his daughter didn't want to acknowledge him. His chest felt crushed by an invisible hand. Only now did he truly understand how his cold indifference had wounded his child. Marcus called out loudly, hoping Lily would hear his remorse. Lily, Daddy was wrong. Daddy won't be like before anymore. Please give Daddy another chance. He tried to push past Stephen. Move. I need to get inside. Lily turned to see her once elegant father looking almost crazed. Frightened, she began crying softly. Stephen's expression hardened. He pressed firmly on Marcus's shoulder, blocking the doorway, regretting not calling Sophia first. Marcus, calm down. I told you to wait for Sophia. He shoved hard, slamming the door. Ignoring the continued knocking, Stephen rushed to Lily, holding her close and patting her back while calling Sophia. Sophia, are you done shopping? Come back quickly. Marcus found your place and he's banging on the door. Lily's upset. Sophia had just finished paying. Hearing Stephen's call, her eyes turned cold. She hadn't expected Marcus to abandon all dignity and track them down so quickly, somehow getting past building security. She rushed home, arriving to find Marcus still at her door. Hearing the elevator, Marcus ran to Sophia as she stepped out, giving her no time to react. Who is that man? Why is he in our home? We're still married, this is adultery. Sophia laughed angrily at his words. Marcus, you dare lecture me about adultery? You have no standing to say that. I sent you divorce papers. We have no relationship. Leave. You're not welcome here. Marcus trembled at her words but stared at her stubbornly. I won't sign those papers. Without a divorce decree, you can't leave me. Sophia took several deep breaths, forcing calm. Marcus, can't we part amicably? Marcus's eyes reddened, drowning in sorrow. No. I won't. I want you and Lily to come home. Give me another chance. Please. I promise I'll change. Sophia shook her head helplessly. We gave you too many chances already. We can't anymore. When this project ends, we'll finalize the divorce. Seeing the resolution in her eyes, tears blurred Marcus's vision. The unspoken words stuck in his throat like thorns. Chapter 21. Marcus stared at Sophia blankly as she walked past him without a backward glance, carrying her groceries inside. Never had Marcus felt so powerless. He knew everything was his fault, but he'd naively believed they'd always be waiting for him to come to his senses. Now Marcus's body swayed unsteadily. He stumbled back a few steps before sliding down the wall to sit on the floor. Tears flooded his vision as his heart felt pierced by countless needles. The pain nearly suffocating. He truly recognized his mistakes now, but why wouldn't they look back at him? So this was the agony of being ignored by someone you loved. Inside, Sophia gently hugged Lily, signaling Stephen to distract her, suggesting he could take her to the bedroom if needed. Stephen heard the muffled crying from the hallway and looked at Lily, who was turning the TV volume higher and higher. His heart ached for her. He could only stroke Lily's hair gently, trying to soothe her. Stephen hadn't expected Sophia to be so decisive with Marcus. After all, he'd witnessed how much Sophia had loved Marcus. The elaborate dishes taking 2 hours to prepare, Sophia finally emerged from the kitchen. Her expression was calm, as if nothing had happened. She called to the pair on the sofa, "Dinner's ready." Stephen carried the subdued Lily to her special chair, then helped bring dishes to the table. But after Marcus's disruption, the atmosphere was muted. Stephen broke the silence. "Wow, Sophia, your cooking's even better than in college. This is amazing." Sophia's lips curved slightly. "Eat up then. I know your appetitiary not leaving until it's all gone." Stephen played along with mock resignation. "Yes, Chef Chen." He glanced at the still silent Lily and mentioned the dessert exhibition again. "I checked the exhibition is this Saturday. I'll pick you both up." Seeing a spark return to Lily's eyes, he continued, "I heard there'll be a 3-meter-tall sugar sculpture cake. Lily, wait for me to pick you up, okay?" Lily's interest was piqued, staring at Stephen wide-eyed. "Uncle Stephen, how tall is 3 meters? Taller than my plush cake?" Stephen affectionately tapped her nose. "Yes, taller than your mommy and me." Lily's jaw dropped. To her, Stephen at 6 feet 2 inches was already a giant. "Wow, that's really tall." Sophia smiled, shaking her head. Gradually, dinner regained its intended warmth. They talked and laughed for 2 hours. After dinner, Lily watched cartoons while Stephen helped clear the table. They sat with Lily, catching up on the years apart, sharing how they'd each changed. Time flew until Stephen noticed it was getting late. He gathered his things, said goodbye, and headed upstairs. Chapter 22. For the next few days, Sophia worked as usual. Marcus didn't reappear, allowing her tense nerves to relax. Saturday arrived quickly. When Stephen knocked, he found mother and daughter ready and waiting. He shook his head with amusement. "Let's go." Lily excitedly grabbed Sophia's hand and ran to Stephen. They drove off together. Shortly after they left, the building gained a new resident. Marcus appeared downstairs. These past days in the hotel, he'd done serious soul-searching. Last time he'd been too aggressive and desperate. Now he knew what he truly wanted. So he'd bought the flat below Sophia's at an inflated price. He believed with time, he could win back Sophia and Lily. On the way to the exhibition, Stephen enthusiastically described what to expect. Like always, the front hall displays sugar art sculptures for photos. The back hall has dessert tastings, plus materials for everyone to make their own cake to take home. Lily grew more excited. Besides playing house, she'd never made a real cake. "Uncle Stephen, will you teach Mommy and me?" Stephen agreed readily. Of course. The three chatted companionably, making the long drive pass quickly. At the venue, they entered the main hall. The 3-meter cake Stephen mentioned stood in the center, surrounded by photo-taking crowds. Sophia followed Stephen and Lily, occasionally taking photos of their happy moments. After touring the front hall, it was nearly noon. They headed to the back hall's dessert buffet for lunch. Then Stephen led them to the preparation area. As an invited guest, staff had materials ready for them. Stephen taught them to make several simple desserts first, then helped them create a proper cake. Working together, their creation took shape. Lily hugged Stephen joyfully, her voice full of dependence and admiration. "Thank you, Uncle Stephen. I'm so happy today." Stephen responded gently, "You're welcome, Lily. You're very talented." Sophia watched Stephen carefully helping Lily choose cake decorations, his warm, gentle demeanor creating an atmosphere of safety. Seeing Lily so relaxed and happy made Sophia happy too. Stephen noticed her smile and suddenly said, "Sophia, your smile is still as beautiful as ever." Sophia touched her lips self-consciously. Lily looked at her curiously. "Mommy, why is your face red?" Sophia, flustered, just ruffled Lily's hair vigorously. Lily pouted, batting her hand away. "Mommy, don't mess up my hair." Sophia glanced at Stephen. They made eye contact and both laughed. The warm, joyful atmosphere enveloped them, as if all troubles had vanished, leaving only this beautiful moment. Chapter 23. After packing their cake and desserts, the three prepared to head home. "Stephen, thank you for today, for taking Lily out." Stephen winked. "Chef Chen, if you really want to thank me, cook me another meal. I'll buy the ingredients." So, Instead of going to a restaurant or home separately, they went grocery shopping together. In the supermarket, Stephen walked ahead with Lily, excitedly selecting snacks and ingredients while Sophia pushed the cart behind them. Just then, Marcus spotted them from afar. They looked like a perfect family. He rushed forward, reaching to pull Lily away from Stephen. Lily, Daddy's here. Sophia frowned and quickly blocked him. What are you doing here? Marcus, I thought I was clear the other day. Marcus avoided her question, his gaze fixed on Lily and Stephen's joined hands. Jealousy burning in his chest. Lily, don't you want Daddy anymore? Lily looked at Marcus's sudden appearance, rubbing her stinging eyes, and said quietly, Uncle, you're the one who doesn't want me. You only want to be Alex's daddy. Marcus thought this meant Lily still had feelings for him and quickly interrupted. Daddy doesn't. Daddy already told Alex's mommy everything. Lily, Daddy won't be like that anymore. Daddy really knows he was wrong. Daddy misses you and regrets everything. Lily, can you give Daddy another chance? Come back to Daddy, please. But Lily turned away from his gaze and declared loudly. No. You're not my daddy. I don't want you as my daddy anymore. Marcus stared in disbelief, unconsciously scolding, Lily Chen. How can you say that? I'm your biological father. He pointed at Stephen. Did he teach you to say this? Only your real daddy wouldn't hurt you. Don't let him trick you. Stephen rolled his eyes dramatically. This was rich. Marcus had his affair and wanted to be someone else's daddy, now he was playing victim. He felt Lily's small hand turn cold and clammy in his. Looking down, he saw her happy expression replaced with sadness. He quickly picked her up, letting her bury her face in his shoulder, then signaled to Sophia that they'd selected everything and could leave. Marcus stood frozen, watching helplessly as his wife and daughter walked away with another man. The three left without looking back. Back home, no one mentioned the encounter. But that evening, Stephen drank more than usual. His tolerance was good, just needed liquid courage. Sophie. Sophia's heart skipped at the intimate nickname. She stood abruptly, avoiding his gaze, picking up Lily and saying it was bedtime, telling Stephen to make himself comfortable. She had no interest in romance right now, only in raising Lily well. Stephen saw her reaction and knew her thoughts. Disappointed, he leaned back and continued drinking. Eventually, Sophia came back downstairs to find Stephen slumped over the table, surrounded by empty bottles. The sight made her temples throb. She walked over and gently patted his back. Stephen? Stephen? Wake up, I'll help you home. Stephen turned and wrapped his arms around her neck, whispering in her ear. Sophie, can't you look back and see me? I've been waiting right here all along. Chapter 24. Sophia's breath caught at his words. You're drunk, Stephen. Stephen lifted his flushed face, staring at Sophia intently. After a long silence, he suddenly smiled and changed the subject. Want to go skiing tomorrow? Coming to London without skiing would be a shame. Perfect for helping Lily feel better. The topic change was so abrupt that Sophia's prepared rejection stuck in her throat. Stephen pressed on. Come on, if you won't play with me, Lily will want to go. Sophia found herself agreeing, not sure why. The next morning, Lily woke to news of skiing and her low spirits immediately lifted. She'd never been skiing before. Meanwhile, Marcus, still determined to visit Sophia's home, saw the three driving off somewhere. He quickly got his car to follow. At the ski resort, crowds bustled everywhere. Lily looked at all the people and snowy slopes with excitement and curiosity. Sophia knelt to adjust her scarf, helping her into children's ski gear and protective equipment, then helped Stephen with his elbow guards. Too tight? A passing staff member, seeing the warm family scene, commented, Sir, you and your wife are lovely together. Your daughter is adorable. Stephen smiled and thanked them before Sophia could speak. Lily looked between her mother and Stephen. She asked Sophia curiously, Mommy, was that person saying Uncle Stephen is my daddy? Then asked Stephen, Uncle, do you want to marry my mommy? If you can make Mommy happy, I approve of you being together. Her innocent directness left both adults flustered. Sophia's mouth twitched. She quickly put Lily's helmet on, cutting off further comments. Stephen's eyes danced with amusement. Really? Then thank you, Lily. This was when Marcus finally found them. Sophia frowned at his sudden appearance. You followed us? Marcus deflected, No, this resort's open to everyone. Can't I ski here too? He looked challengingly at Stephen. Want to ski together? I have things to discuss with you. Stephen stopped Sophia from refusing for him, agreeing meaningfully. Sure. He turned to Sophia. Don't worry, Sophie. I've got this. But at Sophia's insistence, instead of intermediate slopes, all four went to the beginner area. Sophia took Lily to one side, following an instructor through basic moves. Stephen and Marcus warmed up while talking. Marcus spoke first, Sophia and I were married 5 years. She's loved me since college. She's only seeking comfort from you because I hurt her too deeply. If you were smart, you'd leave. Stephen replied calmly, We were college classmates, good friends. I knew about you early on. I know how she felt about you. Marcus grew angry. You knew? And you're still interfering? Stephen glanced at the agitated Marcus. Get your facts straight, you cheated first, didn't you? You have no standing to judge our relationship. I'm talking to you not to compete for Sophia, because she has no feelings for you anymore. Remember when Victoria left and you drowned yourself in bars? Chapter 25. Do you still think Sophia drugged you to trap you? Actually, someone else targeted you. Sophia saved you. Don't bother questioning how I know me family owned that bar. What happened between you was because you actively kept Sophia from leaving. Sophia had already made it to the hallway when you ran out and pulled her back. Marcus suddenly found the bright snow painfully glaring, making his eyes water. Stephen was describing something Sophia had told him repeatedly. But he'd subconsciously refused to believe it, as if only by doing so could he justify hurting Sophia and ignoring her devotion and Lily's dependence on him. He suddenly didn't want to talk to Stephen anymore, skiing away to escape. But his weakened body made him unsteady, and he started to fall. Stephen instinctively reached to catch him, and they both tumbled down together. Stephen. Uncle. Stephen felt the world spin as they rolled countless times. They'd fortunately chosen the beginner slope, so it wasn't too steep. They soon stopped on flat ground. His right arm, which had grabbed Marcus, throbbed with pain, making him cry out. Sophia left Lily with the instructor and quickly skied down, reaching Stephen and helping him sit up anxiously. Stephen, how do you feel? Where does it hurt? Stephen struggled to sit up, leaning against Sophia. My arm really hurts. Sophia's face paled. She quickly had staff load him onto a stretcher. She didn't spare a glance for Marcus being similarly loaded onto another stretcher. Both men were taken by ambulance to the hospital. Sophia took Lily home and arranged for a friend to watch her before rushing to Stephen's room. Stephen, how are you feeling? Stephen looked pitiful. It hurts so much. Sophia scolded him tenderly. I saw everything. You shouldn't have tried to catch Marcus. And what did you say to him to make him like that? Stephen answered honestly, just clarifying that misunderstanding. He needed a reality check to stop bothering you. Sophia was silent, then looked at Stephen intently until he grew nervous. I'll finalize the divorce with him. Stephen blinked, his eyes brightening. Suddenly his arm didn't hurt at all. Really? Perfect timing, we can get married right after. Sophia didn't respond, just adjusted his blanket. Rest now. I'll go talk to him. She left Stephen's room and went next door to Marcus. Marcus's eyes lit with joy seeing her enter. But her next words plunged him into an ice bath. When you're healed, we'll return to the States for the divorce. Marcus shook his head instinctively. Sophia said calmly, I have no feelings for you anymore. You can see that, can't you? I can wait. I'll wait forever until you change your mind. Sophia laughed at this. You're willing, but I'm not. Marcus felt utterly defeated but still fought desperately. I know I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. I promise to devote myself completely to our family. Please give me another chance. Sophia closed her eyes, took a deep breath, then looked at Marcus without any emotion. Too late. Marcus went pale, grasping at one last hope. We've been married 5 years. You loved me so long. I don't believe you really want to leave me. Sophia's gaze held no warmth. I don't love you anymore. That so-called love was completely eroded during those 5 years. Marcus watched Sophia leave without hesitation, devastated. Memories flooded back all the hurt he'd inflicted on Sophia and Lily. His guilt and pain magnified infinitely, forcing anguished sobs from his throat. Chapter 26. 2 weeks later, both Stephen and Marcus had fully recovered. Sophia had planned for Stephen to wait in London while she and Lily returned to handle the divorce. But he insisted on accompanying them, so they all flew back together. Back in the States, Sophia took Lily and Stephen to her only remaining property there. After dinner, the three settled on the sofa to watch a movie. Eventually, Stephen and Lily dozed off leaning against each other. When Sophia noticed, the pair were fast asleep. She gently carried Lily to her room, then returned to cover Stephen with a blanket. As she turned to leave, the drowsy Stephen caught her hand. Sophia paused, slowly turning back. She gently freed her hand and tucked it under the blanket. The next morning, Sophia contacted Marcus and went straight to file for divorce. This time, Marcus cooperated surprisingly well. The process went smoothly. But immediately after signing, Marcus regretted it, his eyes reddening as he mumbled something. Sophia didn't look at him, just turned and left. Near the exit, she heard someone call Marcus Dad behind her. Sophia instinctively turned to see Alex running to grab Marcus's leg. Marcus pulled him off expressionlessly, saying coldly, I told you not to call me that anymore. Then Victoria approached, pulling out a ring box, opening it before Marcus. Marcus, you're divorced now. Marry me. But Marcus's expression grew even colder. Without looking at her, he strode away. Sophia had no interest in watching their drama and started to leave. But Victoria called after her, Sophia, wait. In the coffee shop, they sat facing each other. Sophia ordered casually and looked at Victoria. What do you want? Victoria kept her eyes down, slowly smiling. Nothing much. Just wondering how you made Marcus fall for you. I want him back. Sophia gazed out the window, asking meaningfully, do you want him back? Or do you want to possess him? Victoria frowned, annoyed. What do you mean? Sophia looked back with a cold smile. Do you have feelings for him? You just want to use him for wealth and status. Victoria's face darkened as she protested angrily, don't project onto others. I truly love Marcus. Sophia scoffed. That project your family embezzled quite a bit, didn't they? The hole's too big to fill now. Victoria's heart dropped. She hadn't expected Sophia to know This was a hot potato if exposed, she as the legal representative would go to prison. She forced composure, denying everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I earned that project fairly. Don't slander me because you lost. My conscience is clear. Watching Victoria's act, Sophia slowly sipped her coffee and added, was it fun pretending to be me? Victoria shot up from her chair, realizing her overreaction when people stared. She quickly sat back down, glaring at Sophia. What do you know? Sophia remained calm, glancing meaningfully behind Victoria. Marcus doesn't know I audited classes at his university. He still thinks you were the one who helped him with those documents when he was struggling, doesn't he? Chapter 27. Victoria suppressed her pounding heart, sweat beading on her forehead. Yes, she had impersonated Sophia. Initially by accident, but after gaining benefits through Marcus, she'd embraced the deception. Once, Marcus had even explicitly said that incident was key to his feelings for her. After that, she'd been determined to claim it as her own achievement. She forced composure, responding stubbornly, so what if I did? So what if I didn't? It's ancient history, not worth discussing. Sophia looked at Victoria's shameless facade with disdain. Then we have nothing more to discuss. She stood and walked out decisively. Marcus, who'd been sitting behind Victoria with his back turned, slowly approached and looked down at her coldly. Victoria, what else? Are you hiding from me? Victoria hadn't expected Marcus to appear now. She reached for his hand desperately, explaining frantically. Marcus, don't believe Sophia. It's all lies. Marcus stepped back coldly. Fix that embezzlement hole quickly. I don't want to see you in court. Victoria collapsed in her chair as if struck by lightning, watching Marcus disappear from view. Sophia left the coffee shop and went straight home. Opening the door, she found Stephen and Lily waiting expectantly. All the day's unpleasantness vanished, leaving only warmth. The day after the divorce, Sophia bought expensive gifts and formally met Stephen's parents. She cooked an elaborate meal, and with Lily's charm plus his parents' long knowledge that their son harbored feelings for someone, they were delighted he'd finally won his beloved. Everything fell into place. They obtained their marriage license smoothly. Instead of a traditional wedding, they chose a honeymoon tour. The family of three explored America's landscapes thoroughly before reluctantly returning to London. When she saw Marcus again, it was 4 years later. Lily's school hosted a finance lecture to broaden students' horizons. The guest was a young overseas entrepreneur who'd also established a scholarship to encourage academic excellence. Sophia immediately guessed who it was. Sure enough, on the day, Marcus stood on stage speaking eloquently. After his speech, Marcus wanted to see Lily. But stepping off stage, he saw Lily calling Mommy, Daddy, cheerfully, taking one parent in each hand and skipping away. Marcus could only stand frozen, watching helplessly as Sophia's family walked away until they completely disappeared from sight.